Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to get into another EDC um, EDC video in regards to pens. So obviously you guys know I did a past video where I was talking about different types of writing feels with pens. Well, first off, let's just get out of the way. As always recommended on this channel, we talk about accessories and bettering yourself. And you guys, that I believe it's a good thing for you guys to carry a pen on you at all times, because I feel that just as people in general, men very specifically, women sometimes can do the same, but definitely for men, who we don't really have a lot of accessories. So I try to always say, dress up the accessories you have a little nice pen if you can have one. But I did a review on this right here, which is the Zebra 701 pen. I know there's more to the name, but F701, I'm sorry. It's right there on the pen. F701. I don't have the packaging in front of me, so don't mind if I'm a little off with certain things. But the Zebra F701. Now, I had mentioned before in a past video that the writing on this, being that this is a point 0.7 tip, and it felt a little different. Like you had to be a little more focused with the writing because it felt a little more gritty when you would write at an angle. And but I wasn't sure if that was just because of that it's a more finer tip versus this right here, which right now this Parker Jotter is empty at the moment, but the original ink cartridge that was in it was this one, which you could see here is a 1.0. So that's a medium. It's not considered a fine point. And like I said, the Zebra was a point 0.7. So with that being said, and you could see the tip here, it's probably not as noticeable on camera to say like how see if I can get that, how pointy the tip is. I know it's kind of hard to see with the naked eye, but at the same time too, when I'm writing, you definitely can feel the difference. So So one thing I decided to do after some time of actually writing with the Zebra F701 for a little bit of time, I actually started to enjoy the writing feel of it. It did take a lot more focus because it's not as smooth where you can write on like say an angle like that, and the ink just kind of like just flows out because it's a sharper tip. And I realized that having that sharper tip, a more fine point tip, it's you have to be a little more exactly accurate on the point of the tip for the writing. So that's why coming at an angle sometimes is a little tough. And it got a little better with time of using it. So I guess the pen kind of really adapts after you kind of get the ink flowing. But what I ended up doing was purchasing a more finer tip, because this doesn't come standard with your Parker pens, a more finer tip. And that's why it says F there, because the M on the other one was medium. This is for fine. It's a 0.8. So though it's not as sharp or as fine as the Zebra, it's still a bit more than the medium Parker refill, which is definitely a significant difference. And I definitely notice it. So, and let's see the tips here. I don't, like I said before, I don't know how well, if you could see that this is the fine one, that is the medium. I kind of notice it on the just in the naked eye view, but you definitely can feel the difference in writing. So before we get into that, I just want to show the packaging. And I actually purchased about 6 of these, came in the package. I'm going to throw a link in down in description for Amazon affiliated link where you can purchase this below. And yeah, so let's give it a test. At least on camera, I've tested this already, and like I said, I find it to be interesting. It's definitely a different feel and a different flow. I'm going to put it inside the pen because even though you could write like this, which that one is not even writing right now, the blue one, but we're not going to really get into it, the blue right now. You can write like this, but it's obviously that's not how you're going to be holding a pen. So let me put in the fine tip. Okay. I think he kind of went and hit on the spring a little off. So let's see. And I'm sorry if it might be a little hard to see. Let's see. So it definitely it feels different to write. It definitely is different. So it definitely feels different when it comes to the writing. It definitely feels less smooth than the medium. So this is obviously just a factor then of the fineness or the thinness of the tip of the pen. Um, and I can feel the difference between this one as well, even though this one seems to have gotten smooth, a little more smooth now, I guess, from using a little bit more. But I say this to say that the type of tip that you buy, and I never bought different type of ink refills for the Parker pens. They all come with what they come with, and then when I bought extra in the past, when I ran out, I bought that same type because that's the usually the standard that is sold unless you type in fine, then you'll get that. But generally, when you just type in refills, you're going to get medium. So I realized that is definitely a difference in the way that you write when it comes to the feel of it. And I can also notice the difference between this and the point 0.7, which this is definitely closer to the point 0.7 than it is the 1 um, in terms of the way they feel. But I can definitely feel that difference as well. So I just wanted to kind of point that out and just do this kind of little review on this because I know in my past video I had wrote about the differences in how they feel between the zebra pen that I have, and that's my only zebra pen, and the Parker. Generally speaking, their refills because all the Parkers kind of felt the same because I have the same type of refill. But um, I realize now, and this writes so much smoother. I realize now that it comes down to that, and it's not really the pen; it's the refill. And I just wanted to point that out because my first time discovering that, along with yeah, once again, as always, I recommend to you guys having yourselves a pen. So that is the point of why I do the everyday carry options on this channel, is just telling you guys having certain accessories and you guys having. So I definitely, like, once again, I'm going to reiterate like I did in the past. I recommend that you guys have yourselves, buy yourselves a nice pen to carry on, you guys. I think it's definitely a great accessory for you guys to have, especially considering that, like I always say, as men, we don't have really a lot of accessories that we have to carry. We have watches, you have a wallet, you can, sometimes people wear a bracelet, but a pen is definitely one of those things you want to have. And like I said, just going into further detail with things, now you kind of have a better understanding in terms of the enjoyment of the pen based on the tip, the fineness of the pen, whether it's medium fine or whatever other options that they have. Obviously, they're gel type of pens. I'm not a big fan, but everyone to each their own. You got you have the fountain pens, which is an option too, a little bit more maintenance, but just in general, whatever poison that you choose, that would be the one that works for you, and it makes it a little bit more enjoyable for you to enjoy your pen and have it for that process of you signing checks when you're out or signing the bill or whatever the case is that you guys do. But I just wanted to point that out. Let me write a few more things with the finer tip. And it's definitely something to get used to. It definitely feels different. I feel like, and I'm going to go back to what I was saying before, and I had mentioned this when I was writing in this book, and anything that has lines on it, that when you write with the more medium tip, I'm sorry, not the more medium tip, with the medium tip, it feels smoother when you're not writing on line paper. When you're writing on line paper, it's still smooth, but you start feeling more confined when you're in, say, a smaller notebook, or maybe like, you're getting to the end of the paper and you're trying to, squeeze certain things in. That's when I really noticed that the fine tip really changes up things, along with the fact that um, it feels like, I don't want to say you can write neater, but when you're trying to squeeze things into a smaller space, it is a little bit easier to write neater. You know? It definitely feels, like I said, like the feeling of it allows you, because it's more fine. When you start writing smaller and you really want to compress things, it definitely feels like you can get a more neater writing style when you have a finer tip. And I guess that's the point of it, you know. And the medium, I definitely think it has a place. I definitely I feel like it's a lot more smoother for just writing in general. So things like probably signing, which is what you'd probably be using your pen for, things like signing checks and things like that, it feels so much smoother with the medium. And I used to just think it was the pen, but obviously it comes down to the refill cartridge, and it's definitely smoother with the medium. So things like that, I would say I like the medium tip for signing a check. Maybe it's time of the month to pay bills. You know, you're signing. You open up your mail. You got to sign the amount you're going to pay. Not only writing out the check, but you got to sign on the document, whether it's a Con Ed bill, whatever the case is, your cable bill, whatever the case is, things like that. And you're just doing your stuff like that. It feels smoother. And in that case, you sometimes don't really need necessarily a fine tip, because it's not about constraints in terms of the room that you're writing. But then when it comes to things like this, I've been writing in it, so I don't want to show all the other pages. But when it comes to small books like this, it becomes a little different. That's when it becomes, you got to really kind of squeeze things in, and that's when it really kind of changes the dynamic of where the medium tip versus the fine tip. I feel that difference, because when you're trying to squeeze things in a smaller space, you try to write smaller. When you start to write smaller, the fine tip, that's where it comes into place. That's the very purpose. So I'm not going to drag the video out any longer, but you guys, thanks for watching. As always, comment, share, like, subscribe, and be safe. Take care. We're going into the new year, so happy New Year's, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.